Hey guys, well today is the day after the Williams County Derby and here is the aftermath for our 86 Chevy pickup. Man, this thing's looking rough. It was a fun run, definitely was a fun run. I put on some hard hits, took some hard hits, and we did what we wanted to do, which was get this truck trashed up. So where to even start with this thing? Well, let's start at the front, I guess, and work our way around. Core support did get pushed in a little bit from where we had originally pulled it out. That for sure happened. Probably the biggest thing that happened is kind of hard to see yet on the video, but this whole bumper shifted over. It's over at least a good foot farther that way than it was when we started, at least. And we'll show you what exactly happened when we get down under here. If you look, this frame rail, that's straight on and so that moved over. This is where the support here going to the sway bar used to be here, so that moved over at least a good 4 inches, causing the whole frame also then to bend over, snap the rivets off this cross support. And then over here, this support was right here, again another good 4 or 5 inches over. And then of course look at the frame. I mean, this is supposed to have come out straight. That's where it originally started. And this thing's at least a solid foot, probably closer to 1.5 feet actually, almost, as I'm looking at this thing, is how far this frame bent over. And it kinked right where we had originally tried to bend it back after the last run from last year. We had this similar thing happen where the frame rail went over, steering box came over with it, snapped off my steering linkage, and of course I was running the stock one then, and so that happened. Well, we quickly rigged up like the night before the Derby. I went and took off the old steering column. I had another one from a newer model car that had this expansion joint in it that has about I think it's a 4-inch to 5-inch expansion in it, and we welded that onto, and with the knuckle onto the original steering column. And what that allowed me to do was to have even more extension of this, so as the frame bent over, the steering box moved forward, the steering column would then extend with it, and that worked well. But as you guys can see, it fully extended as far as it would go, and it still tore the rubber off and disconnected at the steering box and lost steering. So that really stinks, because that's what ultimately what knocked me out, was the fact that I lost steering. I got pinned up against the wall, was able to back up and skim the wall a few times to make another hit or so, and then the wheels were turned when that was all happening, when the steering broke, unfortunately, instead of braking straight. And so that really was the unfortunate factor with all that. Not only did the steering break, but it didn't even brake straight. It turned in the wrong direction that I needed it to be for being stuck at the wall. So it's all right though, because this thing probably wouldn't have lasted a whole lot longer. The engine was starting to get really hot. It stalled on me a couple times, just kind of flooding a little bit. I think mostly just for me being a little too hardy on the throttle and not being out of gear properly when shifting. But it was also a screamer at the same time. When it was running, it was dialed in pretty good. A whole lot of body damage. The driver's door did get pushed in a little bit more here. Obviously there's a lot of stuff happening here at the rear quarter. This whole piece kind of got hit in and popped out. Rear quarter here, we definitely did some damage at getting this bent. If you look, the rear frame is kinked right there. It's all twisted, but somehow the rear shackle is still attached, even though it's partially twisted and stuck up in there, if you guys can see that. The frame used to come in nice and straight across and then out the back, and it's pushed in, you know, well, there's the back, way down there, not where it's supposed to be. Let's see if we can go underneath and check it out from a better angle. So I'm going to turn the screen here, so hopefully this will help. But yeah, you can see the spring is still attached, but the rear frame is now way off over there from where it originally started, which would have been back over here. So that is pretty twisted up, which then of course brought everything else And so this whole corner is kind of pushed in and down, but the tailgate did its job. It stayed right in place with where we wanted, and didn't get caught up on anybody as far as I know with that. The front end did get caught up a little bit. We unfortunately did lose a tire here off the rim. Haven't fully been able to investigate. I think the tire itself actually looks okay. I think it just got busted off the bead. So with a little luck, we can just pop that thing back on the bead and be good to go. It only happened on this side where it was really bad. But again, I don't see any tears, nothing bad there. The other side here too, we ended up bending the rim. So at least I think we bent the rim. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, the rim is definitely bent. So the rim is bent, however the tire still appears to be holding air all right. We did chip away, unfortunately, at the tire some, so that's not good. We'll have to flip that around for future derbies. The frame on this side, though, looks to still be where it was supposed to be, or at least where it started at, so which is good, because this side was the weaker of the two, to be honest. This one had already been folded in for the first two derbies, and we pulled it out, and it actually folded in all right. It started to tuck in pretty decent. Inside here in the bed too, it's kind of hard to see the scale on the camera, but the entire floor is V'd in the middle between the frame rails. So she's looking pretty rough, guys. Took some couple good hits here in the front corners too, pushing that all in. You can see how far that's been pushed in. Front tires though, still holding air, just again lost steering, so can't turn the thing. But right now it's mostly straight, so we might be able to slowly get this thing off the trailer safely and be good to go, at least as far as getting this thing off and going on to do something else. But there you guys go. That's the walk around. Don't think there's much to show or anything up here in the engine area. The engine survived okay. The radiator is getting very close to the engine, but it honestly started close to the engine to begin with. It's really close to the bottom pulley. So that's also seems to understand why this thing got so hot in the first place. It started to get pretty hot, but this motor really screams, so you know it's to be expected. But there you go, guys. There's a walk around of our Chevy Derby truck after Williams County 2017. And I gotta be straight up honest with you guys, with the way the frame and the rear is bent and kinked, the way how terribly bent that front end is, it would need to be re-stubbed at both ends, and the body's even twisted and mangled. So I honestly think we are done with this truck. I think it would be better use of our time to get something new and build that up versus trying to fix this and trying to run it again. So not sure, we may change our mind, or this thing might be for sale. So if you guys are interested, let me know. Maybe we can work out a deal as a roller or something. But otherwise, I think we will be having some new projects around the shop. I don't know if we'll do a car, do another truck. Now that I got the drivetrain that I can drop into something, we'll see what kind of deals come our way. But anyways, until the next video, guys, I guess we'll talk to you later.